You wake up to the sound of steel. Swords clash in the street below. Boots hammer cobblestones. Harsh voices bark orders in a language you know too well. The air feels heavy, as if the city has been holding its breath for years. You rush to the window. Outside, soldiers in worn armor shove a starving crowd back from the city gates. Their banners flap in the cold wind, symbols of a kingdom you recognize. Yet something is wrong. The streets look older, poorer, more desperate than they should be. The year is 1700. Europe is hungry. There is no coffee from Brazil, no sugar from the Caribbean, no silver from Mexico, no tobacco, no chocolate, no cotton from distant plantations. There is no new world at all. In this timeline, America was never discovered by Europe. In our reality, the arrival of Europeans in America in 1490 to reshape the planet, crops, animals, diseases. People and ideas crossed the ocean and rewrote diets, economies and borders. Potatoes and maize helped Europe grow. Smallpox helped destroy whole American societies. Silver, sugar and slaves fueled new empires. But what if those first voyages west had never succeeded? What if the Atlantic had stayed a wall of water instead of a bridge? In this alternate world, the earliest westward expeditions vanish. If you captains try to cross the unknown ocean, none return. Storms swallow ships, crews disappear. Rumors spread. The Western Sea is cursed. Sailors whisper it in taverns. Priests preach that some horizons are not meant to be crossed. Kings, tired of war on land, decide it is madness to throw lives and gold into a hungry ocean. Why risk everything? They ask. When we can trade with lands we already know. Portugal focuses on Africa and the route round the Cape. Spain turns to power struggles in Europe and the Mediterranean. The Atlantic becomes a warning, not an opportunity. No Columbus, no Cortez. Number Pizarro, no colonies from Canada to Argentina. Europe still grows, but inside a smaller box. Without American crops, Europe's fields look different. No vast potato fields in Ireland. No maize in Eastern Europe. No tomatoes in Italian kitchens. Population grows slower. Famines bite harder. When harvests fail, there is no backup from across the sea. Meanwhile, on the far side of the ocean, life goes on. The civilizations of the Americas are never hit by European diseases. No single wave of smallpox wipes out whole nations. Aztec, Inca and many other cultures keep rising and falling through their own wars, alliances, famines and discoveries. New cities are founded. Old ones abandoned. Trade networks grow. Ideas and technologies move from region to region. These societies are not frozen and not waiting to be discovered. They are writing their own history, on their own terms. Two worlds grow side by side, separated by water and by fear. But fear is never the only force in history. In Europe, knowledge still spreads. The printing press appears, the Renaissance unfolds. Scientists stare at the sky and ask how the universe works. Curiosity keeps pushing against the edges of every map. By the 1700s and 1800s, pressure builds, populations rise, forests shrink, sails tire. Without new world resources, every bad harvest hurts more. At the same time, ships grow stronger. Navigation improves and steam engines begin to pound in mines and shipyards. Somewhere along a grey European coast, merchants, scholars and explorers gather round a map and ask a forbidden question. What if the stories are wrong? What if the ocean doesn't just swallow ships? What if something is out there? This is the turning point. In our timeline, Columbus sailed under faith, greed and bad maths. Here, the first successful westward voyage comes much later, Not as a wild gamble, but as a planned experiment. Not a lone dreamer, but a coalition of curiosity and necessity. The ships set out. The journey is long, cold, frightening. Weeks blur into months. Old tales of monsters creep back into the dark. But the captains hold their course, trusting instruments and calculations more than legends. Then, one morning, a cry from the mast, land. The first Europeans step onto a new shore with far more humility than Columbus ever knew. Behind them stands an aging, fragile Europe. Before them lies a continent that is not empty, not helpless and not waiting. On the horizon they see terraces carved into hillsides, roads running into the distance, ships along the coast with unfamiliar sails. They have not arrived in silence. They have arrived at the edge of another history. There is no overwhelming advantage this time. No sudden wave of disease clearing the land ahead of them. No easy mix of steel and germs paving the way. Instead, there is a fragile balance. First contact is not quick conquest, but slow negotiation, awkward signs, careful exchanges, scouts on both sides watching from a distance. Trade begins. Metals, dyes, textiles, ideas, beliefs. Not under one flag ruling all, but through shifting agreements, alliances and rivalries. Now go back to that morning. You stand again at your window in the year 1700. The soldiers are still in the street. The hunger is still there. The grey Atlantic still stretches to the horizon. Behind you lie crowded alleys and exhausted fields. Ahead of you lie silence. And yet, beneath the fear, a question is already forming. What if someone crosses? Because as long as humans draw maps and stare at blank spaces, the horizon is never just the end. It is an invitation. So when we ask, what if America was never discovered? The deeper question is this: how long can two worlds stay divided, when both are full of people born looking toward whatever lies beyond the edge of the map? If this alternate timeline made you think, don't let it be the last one. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments which what if we should explore next.